Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Vacha. Yada Prachetasa Putra. Dasha Prachina Barhisha. Anta Samudrat Unmagna. Dashugama Drumay. Shukadeva Goswami said, when the 10 sons of Prachina Barhi emerged from the waters in which they were performing austerity, they saw that the entire surface of the world was covered by trees. So there is talk about two personalities here, Prachina Barhi and Prachetas. Prachina Barhi and Prachetas, like Prachina Barhi is the father, Prachetas are the sons. And the 10 sons had gone for austerities. That is a part of the culture. Before taking any responsibility, you should be qualified. This whole chapter is about Hamsagoya prayers. Even Daksha had a service to populate the whole universe. He also went for austerities before that. Everybody, if you want to do something, first purify yourself. Today this is not the technique, and therefore we have just monkeys in the society. In fact, Arjuna was very worried about the present stage of the civilization. What is the worry, Arjuna's? Arjuna says, something he says very interesting. What does he say? He says, Varna Shankaraha. He says, I am very worried about Varna Shankara. People who are good for nothing. You understand? That is called Varna Shankara. You cannot put them in any category. You cannot put them in Brahmana category. They have no qualification. You cannot put them in Kshatriya. You cannot put them in Vaishya. We cannot put them in Shudra. Many times people claim, I am born, I am a Brahmana. But actually it's Varna Shankara. There is another term which they have in the Vedas which is called Brahma Bandhu. Kshatriya Bandhu. Means he is born in a Brahmin family but in no qualities of a Brahmana. So he was very worried. So these two personalities are there, Prachina Barhi and Prachetas. Narad Muni instructed the Prachetas when they gone for austerities. So began there. So to any responsibility, you have to develop the qualities first. Today is a completely a Shudra civilization because Shudra has no quality. Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. All those people claiming whatever you are, Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. That's all. Shudra means no qualities. Shudra doesn't mean by birth. Shudra means a person who simply cries for no reason. That is called a Shudra. That's a meaning definition. Just like Brahmana is Brahma Janati iti Brahmana ha, who knows spiritual knowledge. Kshatriya, Shat Trayate, who protects you from injury. So every word has a meaning. Anybody knows how do you derive the word Vaishya now? We derived 3. Vaishya, known businessman, but again it will have a deep meaning. So what happens is that, so any responsibility therefore requires some qualities. You have to train a person to the qualities. And Kali Yuga is a very specific case, no qualities. Therefore Arjuna was scared. If all the people die in the battlefield, at their home there will be no training or quality, no samskaras trained. Then what we'll have is a present day society, Varna Shankara, good for nothing. In fact, Prabhupada went to America. When he saw the hippies, he said these are Varna Shankara. They're good for nothing. just lying on the street, drinking, drugs, you know. And present day also it is the same thing. They look marks from the Vedic angle, they will get negative marks. Present society. Okay. There is no training, no training. You see, the Prachetas were trained. And when they were they undergoing the training tapasya, at that time they got instructed by Lord Shiva. We read about that at some other place. Now, close the door. Now it comes to Prachina Bhari. Let us take up from something which has come here. Prachina Bhari was the father of the Prachetas. And he was engaged in elaborate Vedic rituals, and in which he was even sacrificing animals. The sacrifice of animal is there practically in every religion. But in the Vedas, the sacrifice of animals is to be done in such a way the animals gets a human birth next life. But this is all in the level of karma kanda. It's all not high religion, low level. That's why I see some people go to Vishnu, you cannot sacrifice and not accept. Some Devi Devatas accept sacrifice of animals. And some people think that's the end of everything. And they look for some kind of a profit. I go to some Devi Devata, I sacrifice some animal, I'll be blessed. That is their whole objective. They are not thinking of anything higher. And he was engaged in elaborate, not one, two, millions of sacrifices all throughout the earth. Narad Muni came to see him. My dear King Prachina Bhari, look. And he saw in the sky, Narad Muni by his power showed him all the animals waiting to attack him now, which he had killed. Because anything done unnecessarily and in excess will lead to reaction. The Prabhupada concludes in the purport and discussion there. He says that actually animal sacrifice, even though recommended in the Vedas, is not out without reaction. Because it is so delicate. If the animal, there are no proper mantras chanting and the animal doesn't get a human birth, you take the reaction now for that. You unnecessarily gave him inconvenience. See, the himsa has to be properly understood. Himsa means, like in Arjuna you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says kill. At the same time, Krishna says ahimsa is a divine quality. So isn't it a contradiction? Krishna is asking in every chapter himsa. At the same time, he is saying ahimsa is a divine quality. Isn't he contradicting himself? No, he is not contradicting himself. Why? Because actually himsa means to arrest somebody's spiritual growth. There is no himsa of the body is always dead. Himsa is of the soul. So himsa of the soul means you are arresting his spiritual growth. When Arjuna was killing people, he was killing them in the order of Krishna. They were all getting liberated. So where is there himsa there? It's a pure ahimsa. Even though he killed millions of people on the battlefield. Now this cannot be misused. It's the direct order of the Lord. Now people will say, I got where? What's the proof you got order of the Lord? People say, many people, on the order of God I am doing jihad. Where is the proof you got the order? Here is very clear. Arjuna got the order from the Lord. And we also know they were all crooks whom he was killing. Now the second part is that somebody may say that I am doing killing animals and I am sacrificing them as per the Vedic rituals. So the animal, when you sacrifice like that, that immediately gets a human birth. So is benefited. Animal is benefited. But the point is that if your sacrifice was not done properly, particularly in Kali Yuga, it is not possible. Because there are no proper mantra chanters, no pure Brahmanas. Brahmanas are there just for 2 rupee thread, which is available for anybody. That's all the Brahmana is in Kali Yuga. I remember when we were joined the temple and we went to some place, North Karnataka. We wanted to eat in Rayar Matha, Raghavendra Matha. So we knew they will not give 1 gram if you don't have the Brahmin thread. They don't feed you. So we decided to do one thing. The situation was such, we didn't know which direction to wear the thread. In ISKCON, a thread is also given. We also give we don't give 1, we give 7 Gayatri mantras. 1 the Kama Gayatri, 2 on the Guru, 2 on Gauranga and 2 on Lord Krishna, because Vaishnavas are much higher than Brahmanas. So we have 7 Gayatris. Because for us, more is meditation on Krishna than just understanding I'm not body, I'm soul. Brahmana means you understand only this much. Vaishnava means you understand the glories of the Lord and engages in pure devotion service. Or at least wants to engage, and he begins his engagement in devotion service. Kanishta. So now what happens is that we went there, we didn't know which direction. First we saw the Brahmana, we were wearing shirt full. When he saw this direction, okay, we came back, went to the market, bought maybe in 10 paisa or 20 paisa, bought 2 threads, wore it, and we became Brahmanas. And he went and had a nice feast there. You can do there. There's so many mathas, there's the same formula you can apply. They'll tell you to remove the shirt to see where the thread is there. Thread is not there. They will give you, udhar khao tum log udhar. Tumhare liye kuch kara hai udhar. Kuch banaya tumhare liye. It's like second class citizen. Yeah. Just by birth. Just imagine the joke. So then what happened is that when Prachina Bhari saw this, he was shocked. Because why I told you he's shocked? Because it's not allowed in the Vedic culture to do unnecessarily harm to anybody. And particularly to the low level thing. Why is there such an exalted king involved in such fruitive activities? So when he heard Narad Muni that the goal of life is pure devotion service, and Narad Muni takes 2 examples for Prachina Bhari to understand. That is called experiential learning. They're there in the Vedas. One, he takes an example of Puranjana, which is a hypothetical example. He creates a huge story of Puranjana. Puranjana means a living entity who wants to enjoy. And it takes a beautiful story in the Bhagavatam. I think it comes in the 4th canto, previous to this. And he hears the whole story. He knows the allegory story. And he asks at the end, what does it mean? He explains, this body is the city in which he's living, the enjoyer. The city has 9 gates, how the city finally gets attacked. And he has a very nice analogy. He says just like a flower looks very beautiful. For a man or a woman in the beginning, they look very attractive. But the flower, after same flower, which is nice smell, after some time starts stinking, correct? The same way, the same body which looks so beautiful, after some time starts stinking. I was giving it an example yesterday. Somebody, I was telling, I met a sannyasi. So I asked him, how is it you, so many years you remain, pure to your vows? He said, whenever I see a woman, I put 50 years on her face. And for us also, it's very easy. Just because we will exactly more or less look like our parents, correct? Sometimes we feel so proud. Just look at your parents, grandparents, and you see how you look very soon. So you lose all pride in our form, the material form that we are having. And we can stay very fixed in Krishna consciousness. So he gives him the story of Puranjana. And when he understands the story, it's a very elaborate story how the living entity gets entangled and finally he comes to Krishna consciousness. It's a beautiful story. And then he gives him another story of the deer. The deer, he talks about how the deer is in a forest running here and there. But this deer, enjoying with his wife, there is a nice waterfall, wonderful garden, but the deer does not recognize there is a tiger and a hunter waiting for him. He takes his present situation as all in all. He does not know. It's a matter of few seconds. The hunter or the tiger will swallow him. He doesn't know that. So we are also very blissful with our karma kanda, trying to make our life more and more comfortable somewhere or another. We do not know any moment what calamity is going to come upon us. We are not aware. And death is anyway waiting. So when he hears his Prachina Parishad and he hears from Narada the glories of pure devotion service, he immediately renounces his kingdom and he just walks away. He feels so much remorse of what he did. Because lakhs of millions of animals are sacrificed by him. He feels very sad for all that, what he had done. And I say, I did not know. Just his fruitive activities, when he shows the animals in the sky, Prachina Parishad falls to the feet of Narada. So what do I do? This so-called priest simply misguided me. This Karmakanda fellows, do this, you get this, do this, you get this, do this, you get this. I don't know anything about pure devotion service. So the Narada opens out, with the heart he opens to him about the knowledge of pure devotion service. And he takes some example of Puranjana. and explains very elaborately how we are stuck in this world. He surrenders. And he feels so much remorse, he doesn't even wait for his children to come back. His children have gone for austerity to become a king. He doesn't wait, he just walks away. Because actually his most important is our own spiritual life in that sense. And he runs away to the forest for also doing austerity. Now no king in the kingdom. And now what happens? Definitely there is no proper governance. Suppose a lot of weeds and trees will come up. True? The Prabhupada is mentioning a very important which it mentions many, many times. I also don't understand this point. Mangalore particularly is blessed. We grow trees with fruits. We grow coconut, arecanut, mango, jackfruit, correct? But why is it people grow trees which only give fuel? More or less good for nothing. They are called pious trees which give fruits, and impious trees which don't give fruits. They are not good for nothing. You have to just cut them one day. You understand or not? If the cities, they only grow trees with fruits. If all the highways, they put trees with fruits, won't it help the people? So food is ready. Khali all highways you see, trees which only good for cutting one day. And I think they have some kind of a contract with this. कुछ होगा कुछ, हर चीज में कुछ छुपा होता है पीछे से. Maybe that's where you can make a lot of money. If you make trees with fruits, then public going the highway can have some mango and all, but the people who are in a lot of people's, second income will get blocked. Suddenly the tree will disappear. And big trees, how much money is made? We do not understand. So anyway, so Prachetas, when they came out and they saw the situation, they were shocked. All around the trees and weeds, no food is being grown. That's what is happening today. Prabhupada says, I go around the world, I see so much land is lying vacant. Nobody is growing food. You can see here also, all parts of the world. And the rice is then 100 rupee kilo. Go buy. It's important. Prabhupada says the enough production of grains and fruit should be there so people can live peacefully. And second point is that here there is no need to kill animals. And at least, even if it is not recommended to kill animals, even for Vedic sacrifices, how you can kill animals anyway then? And never, ever, it was ever recommended you can buy meat from a slaughterhouse. It is never recommended. It's very sinful, very, very sinful to take animal for meat from a slaughterhouse. All you could have done, taken from a sacrifice of animals, done during something, but today those cannot be done. So people, and where is the shortage? It is shortage is there because of your mismanagement. The land lies empty, and then you look at animals, They are living entities. They are conscious living entities. Why you want to give them pain? So many angles Prabhupada argues. Yesterday night we were hearing the class. Prabhupada was saying, what is the need? There is just no need to give so much pain. Prabhupada said, why do you want to create a ghastly scene? Actually, it's a ghastly scene. Whenever you put up the video of animal slaughter, even they cannot handle. I have seen the students in the colleges, they can't handle to see even chicken being killed. Because it's not, put the sound, how he runs for his life. And forget about the higher animals. You go to pigs or goats, it becomes more difficult. And bring a cow, they run out of the room. They can't hear that. And just imagine this ghastly scene is being created. And nobody likes to do it. Somebody is being forced to do that profession. Do you think somebody wants the profession of a Kasai? Nobody wants. It's a terrible profession. And there is one man who gave it up. He said he was I think in East Asia somewhere. And he said, I have a chopper in my hand and I saw the face of the, whatever animal, I think a bull or something, with tears. And somehow, generally we don't look at it. What nonsense philosophy some people have created. They say living entity, the Atma is only in human form. In animals and plants, there is no living entity. What is the nonsense, What is the nonsense? Everywhere it is. Prabhupada used to give a very simple argument. And I remember once I was selling books on the train. And there was one man, he had just read Science of Self-Realization. He told me this argument. And he was in ecstasy. I've never seen somebody so much bliss. He said, this book is so nice, I tell you. I can understand it very clearly now. Prabhupada is saying there are 4 things similar between man and animal. What are they? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. We eat, animal eats. Correct? Mota buddhi se samjhane ka. We sleep, animal also sleeps. We defend ourselves when we are in danger, animal also defends himself. And then we mate, animal also mates. So why do we deny one more similarity, that when we have an Atma, or when in this body there is Atma, that is we, similarly in animal body Atma is there. Why do we deny one more similarity? What is the nonsense? They say, no, it's just appearance of a living entity. It is no living entity. Therefore, you have to hear from the proper authorities, otherwise we will be misguided. Animals, what happens is that their degree of freedom is so reduced, they almost behave like a program. That's how they get cheated. Just like you are a human being, okay? And you are shouting at somebody. You say, please don't do this. It is giving pain to another person. You should be careful. Yes, I will not do. He changes. But animal is barking. You cannot go to him. Don't bark. He keeps barking. Because he's like an exe file without control. So if you are not hearing from proper authorities, you will conclude by your foolishness an animal actually there is no soul, because it doesn't show much degree of freedom. Correct? ऐसा लगता है. Therefore, I think they get cheated. They have to understand more. How can the consciousness, how can the matter organize itself without the presence of consciousness? Just like in a fetus, in the womb, in the child, what is happening is that consciousness is not manifest at all. Animal, at least the consciousness is manifest. But the matter is organizing itself. Matter behaves in a very funny way when consciousness is around. There's a very, very big principle. There's a big science to be done. When somebody dies, the whole body decays. Somebody was saying very nice, you read that? The nails fall off in so many days, the hairs fall, the whole body breaks down. Dead child does not grow. When the consciousness is there, you see that? How there was a unicellular first cell, and how it divides into different specialization is happening. You don't see a matter doing like that. Do you see that? In a forest, some stones are lying. Suddenly the stones start arranging themselves, making into a house. Does it happen on its own? It cannot happen. There has to be consciousness is present. Then if you go to the forest, next day you see a house has been done. Previous day only stones and woods were lying. What do you conclude? There is a person in that area. Don't you conclude like that? So similarly, the consciousness is present, even though it's not manifest outside, because hands and legs are not there. Because of the presence of the soul, the matter starts behaving in a very funny way and organizes itself like a fetus. The soul is there. Therefore, when you kill a fetus, that's also murder. Anyway, Atma is never murder, but what is murder? You cause inconvenience to the soul. Again, he has to take birth in another womb to get a body. Correct? That is himsa. You cause inconvenience. Is it, Prabhupada says no in one discussion, is it not criminal? You're causing inconvenience to another person. Is it not criminal? So we can understand this point. So when in fetus killing is a murder, definitely animal killing is a murder, because animal shows much more consciousness than a fetus, which is not developed. Isn't it? Animal shows so much consciousness. He is showing all the 4 behaviors. So he has, soul is there. How can he kill? And then they say, no, human life is divine. So Prabhupada said, what is divine? Please tell us about you. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.